Hey guys, Will here. So today's video, we're going to be quickly covering off one of the most frequently asked questions we get in relation to Fanatec products. We're going to be talking about compatibility and how to understand what products in the Fanatec ecosystem are compatible with what devices, whether it's PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. So let's get going. So I think the best way to explain this is to talk a little bit more about the technical side behind how this works. I'm not going to go into heavy detail here. What you need to understand is that there is a security mechanism built into PlayStations as well as Xboxes, which means that you have to have a security chip inside the device that you're plugging in to make that device be compatible. And where people get confused is that the approach and how this actually works within the Fanatec ecosystem is different between what it is for Xbox and what it is for PlayStation. So every single device within the current Fanatec ecosystem is PC compatible. And if you jump on their website, you'll see that little PC logo up in the top right-hand side above every single product, which will explain to you that it is indeed PC compatible. So what you need to understand is that Xbox compatibility comes from a security chip inside the wheel, and PlayStation compatibility comes from a little security chip which is inside the base. As long as you have that security chip somewhere within your system, then you're going to have compatibility. So say for example, on an Xbox, you've bought a CSL DD or a DD1, DD2, you've bought a set of V3 pedals or CSL pedals, and you have a wheel which isn't Xbox compatible, then none of that other equipment is going to work on your Xbox. But as soon as you add that Xbox compatible wheel, then everything is going to work, provided that it is all connected through the wheelbase. And then with PlayStation, it's kind of the opposite. So as long as you've got a PlayStation compatible base, then all the other accessories that you plug in through that base will be PlayStation compatible. So if you jump back on the website and have a look at those little logos above each product, you'll see most of the products will have PC because pretty much everything is PC compatible. Some of them may have Xbox Ready or Xbox, and some of them may have PS Ready or PS. So if you're looking at wheel bases, you'll notice that the majority of them will say Xbox Ready, meaning that if you use that base in conjunction with an Xbox compatible wheel, then that base will be compatible with Xbox, and any other components that you connect to it will also become compatible. So if you are wanting PlayStation compatibility for your system, you're going to want to look for that PS logo above the wheelbase, and then every other component which you have in your system should then also become PlayStation compatible. In the case of wheels, it's the opposite again. So if you're looking at it, you'll see some of the wheels will say PS Ready, meaning that if you use it in conjunction with a PlayStation compatible base, then you will have that PlayStation compatibility. And the wheels that have that Xbox logo above them unlock Xbox compatibility. So in terms of actual connection here, what you need to do is make sure that all your various components in your Fanatec ecosystem are all connected in through the wheelbase. So you want to connect your pedals, your handbrake, your shifter, and your wheel obviously through the base itself, and not via any sort of external connection or USB connection, and then everything should work together. Now, just quickly before we wrap things up here, one other question that we get asked a lot is, are other third-party accessories compatible with the Fanatec ecosystem? So say you've got a Fanatec base and a Fanatec wheel, and you've bought some other shifter or some other pedals maybe, will they all be compatible? Now, in the case of PC, generally speaking, yes, because each of those additional components will generally connect to the PC via its own USB connection. It'll have its own drivers, its own software. And as long as the SIM title that you're running will recognize multiple input devices, then you shouldn't have an issue on PC. Now, PlayStation and Xbox, it does get a little bit more complicated. Some titles, I believe, can recognize multiple input devices via USB. But again, obviously, it's going to depend on whether that third-party item is actually PlayStation or Xbox compatible in and of itself. But generally, the best way to look at it in terms of Xbox compatibility is you want to have all your peripherals all connected via the wheelbase, and then the wheelbase connected to your console via USB. So any accessory that you can connect to your wheelbase directly will generally work with the Fanatec ecosystem and with any console game, provided that you have the Xbox or the PlayStation security chip somewhere in your chain. But generally speaking, the Fanatec ecosystem doesn't have provision for connecting external third-party accessories directly in via the wheelbase. So that means that generally speaking, at least, you're not going to have compatibility for third-party accessories on consoles if you're running the Fanatec ecosystem. So hopefully that all makes sense. Hopefully it's helped. Leave a thumbs up if it has. And yeah, we'll see you again soon. Bye.